Do I need to put my seatbelt on?
Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
So we had an argument and fell out.
For 9 months.
Was it 9? Best 9 months of my life.
You were the first finance bro to blow up on TikTok.
I vlogged every day for a month. I think I gained like 250,000 followers on Instagram in like 2 months.
That is really nice. The city's most obnoxious 24-year-old launches his latest collection.
How did the first launch go for Ziggna?
Did £130,000 in sales in 2 hours. That is one of the best ads I've ever made.
Yeah.
Like, it pulled in 1 million views organically. I'd always wanted to launch a business. I had no experience in running an e-commerce brand.
What was your first impression of me?
A nutcase.
Don't say that. It makes me sound awful. Okay.
I've definitely been in better class, let's just put it that way.
Where's your microphone? There it is.
Here. Do I need to put my seatbelt on?
No, you
Mic
have
check.
to put your seatbelt on. Welcome back to another episode of Passenger Princess. Today I'm joined with Miles, or as some people know him, M.Isles, who is the finance bro of TikTok and most commonly known for his quarter zips and his signet rings. Welcome to the podcast. This is your first ever podcast.
It is, yeah, losing my podcast V card. Oh, can I say that?
Yeah. So let's go right back to the start, which is how we know each other, which was from our first ski trip we did with our friends.
Yeah.
We called it Pals and Val.
We came up with a hashtag, yeah, we did.
Yeah, that was our own hashtag. And basically we wanted to go on a fan trip and no one invited us. so we made our own. No, basically we knew that if we went skiing right at the start of the season,
we'd be able to capitalise on all the trends.
Yeah, and we would, get the content and we would get views first. And
I think it was so that a brand would then see our ski content and invite us on one. And
we didn't get an
No. It was fine anyway because we had a better time.
Yeah. So we basically curated this ski trip and we all filmed our individual content on it. But because we were full creators, we ended up coming up with our own hashtag, which was Pals and Val.
Because we were in Val Thorens.
Yeah. And what happened to that hashtag?
A brand who I won't name stole it.
Yeah.
And when they did their brand trip, invited loads of influencers who couldn't even ski.
and used the hashtag.
With their clothes that aren't even ski proof. So, yeah. But we still have more views than them anyway. So
we did. We
started beefing them.
So our whole ski trip overall, we got 40 million views.
And then when we went on another ski trip, we had to go to a Val resort so that we could continue to
use the hashtag
use it again. Yeah, so we had to go to Val d'Isère.
So last year we went to Val d'Isère and the year before we went to Val Thorens.
Yeah.
Thorens, I don't even know how to say it. But this year, we're not going on Pals and Val this year, unfortunately.
No, we're all too busy.
We're all too busy.
We can do it in January. No, you can't.
I can't do it in January.
No.
I'm already going skiing in December, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pals and Val.
You got invited on a brand trip this year.
Yeah, thank God. So yeah, that was kind of how we met. What was your first impression of me?
A nutcase.
Don't say that. It makes me sound awful. Yeah, that's the first time we met was at Geneva Airport.
Was it in the airport?
I'd never met... Oh no, we met at your birthday.
Oh yeah. India brought you along for my birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we won't go into detail.
No, we won't go into that.
Yeah, because we went oh, that's an interesting story because I was still working full time at that point and I was speaking to you in India at Soho House and you were telling me about what it's like to work for yourself.
Yeah.
And I'd never really understood that you could make that kind of money in working for yourself. It had never hit. I think when you work in a corporate job, you're in such a closed mindset about how much you can earn in that industry. And I was doing socials, but I had never really monetized it. And I remember speaking to you in India and that was the thing for me that I was like, do you know what, maybe I'll quit my job and do this full time.
Yeah, but
because I wanted to launch a business anyway, but knowing what you guys were doing, working for yourselves.
I did warn Miles though the first time I met him. I was like, be careful when you leave and make sure you've got something else lined up to post content of, because I went through the process of kind of leaving my job to become a full-time influencer, which is kind of the downfall of most people. So I had to learn the hard way and resolve that. And I basically had to spend 2 years rebuilding my personal brand because I was no longer a corporate girl. And even though I'd started a marketing agency and I was posting about that, I kind of lost my brand identity. So I was trying to warn Miles that it does take a while to kind of become known for something else, but you also want to keep it carried with you. But I think something we were going to talk about today was there's been a lot of trends recently around influencers having an expiry date.
Yeah.
So what kind of are your thoughts on that?
So I think that's obviously the biggest thing. You know, when I told my friends and family I was going to quit my job, and luckily I was planning on launching a business anyway, it is that I was known for doing my like corporate content. Luckily that's why we had, you know, ski content, all those other things. I'd always wanted to launch a business as well, and I thought, right, if I can make the same, if not more money doing socials and then launch a business, I will be fine, because if the money isn't coming in from one, now I have multiple different sources of income. But I think it is that thing as well, that a lot of influencers, they get well known for one thing and then they quit and do it full time, and then they just become unrelatable. So yes, you have an expiry date, but it does come down to, you do need to constantly
Reinvent yourself.
Yeah, reinvent yourself, transition your content, which I think both of us have still even done now. Like, you have your multiple content pillars. Corporate content was only one of mine, and I shifted that, basically replaced that with like behind the scenes of running a business. You know, like our ski content, all our ski content always gets millions,
that's always
millions
like
of views.
a big thing in the year for us is the ski content.
No, we're not going this year.
Something I actually said
Yeah.
to a creator I know that recently quit her job a few months ago. When she told me she quit, I said, the best piece of advice I can give to you is that even though you're going to be earning more money now because you are earning like influencer money and brand deals and whatnot, and it's more than your salary was before, try and keep that element of relatability in your content. For example, if you can now afford to get an Uber to an event, just get on the tube anyway, because it's going to make you appear the same as you were before, and you don't want to lose that element of your branding. So even though you can get you can get an Uber Lux in your personal life, you built a following from people being able to relate to you and getting on the tube and doing your budget food shops and whatnot. So make sure you keep that in your content. Otherwise, yes, people are going to unfollow you and they're not going to be able to relate to you anymore. But just because you become, you know, a full-time influencer and you have a high disposable income or you have more time, doesn't mean you should lose that element that you built all those followers up from. And that's where I think people maybe go wrong.
So I think where my stuff differs is all my content is very satirical and tongue-in-cheek, and it's not supposed to be relatable. Like, I'd make funny videos about like pretending to book out an entire EasyJet flight kind of thing because my private jet was being serviced. Obviously it was a joke. But then when I started working for myself, obviously my content did shift, and then that was kind of the issue I had, because when I worked with a private jet company to do like a promotion for my own brand, it was like, well, you can't really go from the guy joking about your private jets being serviced and then like you're actually on one. So I think it's very, you have to be careful with how you navigate the opportunities that you get. And I think as well, that's where a lot of creators fall off, is when they go from like working in XYZ and then suddenly they're, you know, living this really privileged lifestyle and you just kind of brush over it.
That's kind of what I did though with when I quit my corporate job. Even though I could like go and buy a Birkin or go and buy a Rolex, I always put a twist on it, like getting the bus home or getting the tube home, just to kind of bring an element of humour and relatability back into it. Truthfully, I actually do always get the bus. It's actually not a wind up. I get the bus all the time, but it's just creating that contrast that brings a bit of relatability into your profile. And that's exactly why I still have my Ford. Because even though I get out of it with a Birkin and, you know, nice jewellery on and my hair done and a nice outfit, I still want to feel like the girl next door to everyone. And I do feel like, even though this car is literally about to blow up, it's not going to be around for much longer, I'm glad I kept it all this time, because it shows that where I came from and that I'm still pretty normal. Yeah,
I think it's easy to get wrapped up in like the consumerism online and chase things for the sake of chasing them, which I've never really been a very materialistic person.
I would say different.
Really? I don't buy luxury
No,
things,
you're not.
though.
You're not. But you
I spend my money on experiences.
You already have
and
quite nice
zips.
things. You already have quite nice things, so you haven't really had to buy them. Like you've got, you've got a nice car and you've got like a signet ring. That's like what most boys buy, isn't it?
You get handed down signet ring. But yeah,
I wouldn't know that, 'cause I'm not from a family like that.
But I think it's basically like a lot of influencers very quickly become out of touch with their audience. I think I've always been out of touch with my audience, but in a way that makes fun of it. So I think when I didn't want to be the person who quits their job when they're doing brand deals left, right and centre and they've got no other personality beside doing social media. Like doing social media has never been my full priority. I swapped my job for running a
Ziggna,
business.
yeah.
Like, you look at some influencers, what do they make content about? Just like going to the shops and sorry.
So mean, but it's true though. It's true.
Yeah, well, no, they have no sense of not relatability.
Well, they just
but
have
like,
no purpose.
They have no purpose. Whereas
Yeah.
like for me, my priority is my business. I have a team who work for there. Like, content has always been a side thing. Yes, it's helped get my business to where it is now, but it's not my priority, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think there's definitely, I would say, something that frustrates me is that I would say there's two types of influencer. There's kind of like a more strategic influencer, and then there's influencers that it amazes me. They get hundreds of thousands of likes on like a video of them dancing, but there's not really anything behind it, which is fine. And I'm very jealous that they can just stand and dance and probably get paid even more than we do, and most people do. But also, I think we enjoy the more strategic, creative side that we're on. So I definitely think there's more than one type of influencer. So it's frustrating when people loop influencers all into one gaggle, and they're like, oh, well, you're all stupid and you're all thick and you all just do TikTok dances. Like, we don't all do that. But it's fine if you do. If that's what you want to do and that's what you enjoy and that's what you make money from, great. I wish I could dance and make money. But I think people kind of don't see that there's a difference, but that's just because we're in the industry.
Yeah, and for me it was like, right, if I can be paid a certain fee by a brand for doing a video for them, they must see a bigger like return on investment. Well, you'd hope so anyway for that. So I was like, well, what if I was just promoting my own business? And that's where like the idea of wanting to start a business for myself and then being able to promote it through social media, because that's like basically a free marketing funnel. So that was always my aim. Like, yes, I still do work with other brands as well, but I'm picky with who I work with. And then like my priority is like a lot of influencers, they sell their audience, whereas we use, not in a bad way, but like we do that too, working with other brands, but we also both use our own audiences as essentially like a form of sales funnel. Use it for your marketing clients. I use it to, you know, show people my brand and things like that. And I think that's a different way of looking at it, and especially running a lot of businesses now are so founder led, and they're posting a lot on socials, you know, the behind the scenes, what you do, because people want to see that as well. And I think that's what I wanted to be transparent about with my content, was the shift from going to corporate life to starting a business. I had absolutely no clue what I was doing. Like, I've made videos about the big cock-ups I've had, the issues I've had there, but I think as well that's the element of relatability. Like, yes, I've lost tens of thousands of pounds on stock. That's not relatable at all, but I think it's like the honesty of being like that with your audience that you would never see from like these massive high street brands as well. And I think as well people buy into people and lifestyles and not businesses themselves. Like, there are so many high street brands where, you know, that there's no like core messaging behind that. Yes, you know, I guess it is a bit risky because you are the founder, are the face of the brand, but then I just think it's an exciting new thing to try. And I always said to myself, right, if it fails, then I could just go back to
your job. I have said to Miles that he should do his day in the life videos like he did before, like get on the tube to work and go to your office, because you literally have your own office now.
Yeah. But this is the thing, and I think I've struggled a lot with, is I went from working like a job with a lot of hours to working for myself, essentially doing two jobs. Yeah. And I just don't have the time.
You've got to make the time. Actually, Miles' response to when I said you should get the tube to office and film a day in the life video was that he drives there in his Range Rover. So maybe you should take your own advice.
Sometimes I line bike.
Yeah, but I think you should, you know, just go back to those corporate OG reels. But where did those videos come from? Because you were the first like finance bro to blow up on TikTok. So where did that come from? When did you wake up and think, I'm going to start making TikTok vlogs about being a finance bro?
So I did a series where I vlogged every day for a month, and I think I started it in July, and I was consistently doing it the whole of July, the whole of August, and it was getting a good amount of traction. I then got back from summer and I just did one going to work, and I just changed up the tone of the voiceover. It was like 3 million views, the next one 2 million views, 4 million views, and just like that was the type of content that people liked. I was working on Ziggna at the time, and I thought, just as like kind of a fun side project, and the timing worked really well because I think I gained like 250,000 followers on Instagram in like 2 months. My TikTok like doubled in 2 months as well, and the timing just aligned perfectly for when I placed my order, when I announced the business, like how well my socials were doing. And I kind of thought, right, I'll wait until I get my bonus, then I'll leave, and I'll like, you know, I don't want to be 1 foot in. I'll just do this properly. And it was down to the timing basically, but I think because I was very strategic with how I executed it. You know, I'd done content working in corporate. I knew I wanted to sell a quarter zip or make a quarter zip. And I'd worked with brands as well in like the menswear space who would just not approve the concepts I had. And I was like, I think this is exactly the type of videos that I'm pulling in millions of views on. Like, there's no reason why this wouldn't work. So I was like, you know what, I'll do it myself then.
And the first ad, the launch video we made for Ziggna, we rented that office out, didn't we?
Yeah.
The one just above Bank.
It was in Bank.
Yeah, and it was literally like Miles and all of his mates with the quarter zips on.
Yeah, filmed it on an iPhone. I think all I paid for that was the rent of the conference room. We actually got told off to go to book it again, and they're like,
we did.
You're not supposed to film.
You're not supposed to film in it, but thanks for not. Yes, I guess.
Yeah. So £800 that conference room cost. We filmed it all on iPhones. You had your camera, and you know, I just thought, right, I'm going to make a similar video in the style of the stuff that I usually do. We went in there. I think we had it for like 4 hours, right? Because we went in there with like massive suitcases and just unloaded everything, and it was such a panic. Filmed it all on like the balcony as well. I think that's why they got annoyed as well, because
you opened the doors and we weren't supposed to.
Yeah, but like, sorry, if a door opens, then I'm going to open it. And yeah, we did that, and that the timing of that was
perfect
because it was like 2 weeks before I'd planned to launch. It took me 24 hours to edit that actual launch video.
That's still my favourite Ziggna video you've ever done.
That is one of the best ads I've ever made.
Yeah.
Like, it pulled in 1 million views organically on the brand socials, which we knew as well. And I was editing it, and I'd handed my notice in for my job, and I left my job on the Thursday, and I launched it on the Tuesday. And it was that video, as well as like, you know, nurturing an email list and stuff. And that, I was like, you know, yeah, I'll do it.
And how did the first launch go for Ziggna?
Did £130,000 in sales in 2 hours.
From selling quarter zips?
Yeah, from selling quarter zips.
And then from that point, how has Ziggna evolved? So what are you doing now, basically, is what I'm asking you.
So that was 4 days after I quit my job. And then I was like, oh, wow, this is for real. Like, there's potential here. So I kind of was thinking, what's next? And I think the problem for me is I'd only been thinking about like that launch, right? I hadn't been thinking, you know, 4-6 months in the future. And I think that's what definitely held me back a bit, because I had no experience in, you know, running an e-commerce brand. I'd hired someone while I was working my corporate job to manage like my emails. I'd hired a fulfillment center. I kind of knew what I was doing, but I was just winging it. So I think then I was like, right, okay, this whole building a brand around a type of lifestyle has worked really well. I'm going to continue that, but I can't just do the same thing. Like, I need to switch it up. So in alignment with my 25th birthday party, I was like, right, well, how can I turn that into like a marketing shoot?
How can I make my 25th birthday party a business expense?
Yeah. So, how can I make my 25th birthday party a business expense and make money off it? And yeah, that's one of my specialties. So
that was the blue and the pink quarter zips, wasn't it?
So I threw 4 or 5 days?
3 days? I was there for 5.
Yeah.
I got the ferry.
Yeah.
the Chanel ferry. Channel ferry.
So basically, I took 60 of my friends and family to a big chateau in France and threw a party for 3 days. And the intention behind that was kind of my birthday party, which was 2 months early, and also to give everyone who came the new colour quarter zips that were coming, and
basically have a giant quarter zip party.
Yeah, exactly. And gain kind of organic content from that, and not stage a studio shoot, because I think, you know, how many times have there been brands who just film people faffing about in a studio, and there's nothing to kind of sell the product there. Like, I wanted people to...
You were selling a lifestyle.
Selling a lifestyle, yeah. And it worked really well. I mean, that was a really successful launch too.
And it was really fun.
I think as well, it kind of highlighted to me that there is a different way of running a brand than the traditional set up a shop, you know, post a few flat lay images.
Like, so we had like a full itinerary for that trip. I went out early to help you like set everything up.
Yeah, supposedly set everything up.
I didn't really help with anything. And we basically you planned everything. So we had like the first night was like a welcome dinner. Then we had pecan tea. And then on the Saturday was the big day. So we did like black tie. No, we're forgetting the theme was like Saltburn.
Oh yeah, so it was
the time that Saltburn was like the talk of the town, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So we did Saltburn theme on the Saturday night, and everyone dressed up. It was so fun. Everyone in black tie at this beautiful chateau.
Yeah.
We had live ABBA band playing, like loads
who'd
of
come
food.
over from England.
Yeah, loads of alcohol. Like, it was just the funnest weekend ever. I mean, I woke up in my dress from Saturday night to Sunday morning. It was, and I lost my phone, remember? Someone threw my phone like on top of the marquee, so all morning I was walking around like, where's my phone?
I'd seen all these brands throw these crazy brand trips, and I thought, well, how about I throw one for my own brand instead, but just invite all my friends instead of random influencers. And it worked a treat.
For anyone listening that doesn't really know what Ziggna is, although it's been literally rammed down everyone's throats, so I'm sure they do, how do you describe the brand and what's your vision for it?
So, because I came from obviously like a corporate background, when shopping for like clothes myself on the high street, all the high street brands, they were either like 100% polyester, or it was at the other end of the spectrum where they were way too expensive. So my aim was to essentially try and find a middle ground for that. Like, I think especially post-COVID, the corporate world dress code has shifted away from suits, more towards layering with like quarter zips, gilets. Essentially, I wanted to create pieces that I would wear on a day-to-day basis. Like, I don't work a corporate job, but like I still dress fairly smart, but pieces that you can wear in the office, out the office, you know, going for a nice dinner, working from home, going for like a family lunch or something, but be good quality. Like, the main thing that I've done when making all my products is like, the first quarter zip I wanted was 100% cotton. I think basically the problem is with high street brands is it's fast fashion because the materials are bad, like the quality isn't great. And then on the other end of the spectrum, there are, you know, these really good quality brands, but the price point is not affordable. And I had to think about, if I'm going to launch a brand to my audience, it needs to kind of fall within that middle ground. So, you know, all of the products I've made, like all the quarter zips are either 100% cotton, 100% merino wool. I wanted to basically do, you know, different styles of quarter zips. So I've got one that's like a baggier fit that's more casual. I've got merino wool ones that are more smarter. I've got kind of a middle ground where it's like a cotton mesh knit, but it's tighter. I've got different types of gilets. I've got, you know, a more one that you could wear like when you go on a run, or when you could wear when you're at après, or when you could wear...
Oh yeah, we did wear them at Prey, didn't we? We never posted those
are the
photos.
quarter zips, yeah, because they...
never posted those. We had this idea when we were at Prey last year you know when you've had a few drinks and you think you look really good?
Yeah.
We were like, let's do a photo shoot. And we looked at the photos when we got back and they are so bad. Like so bad, painfully bad.
Yeah.
But at the time we thought we were like really doing something. We weren't.
But I think it was basically creating pieces that you can wear like in a professional setting, but you can also wear
on
outside.
slopes.
Like, for example, like this new merino wool cardigan. You could probably wear it to the office, but, you know, I'm not in the office right now and I'm wearing it.
You can still wear it,
and it's something that's more like smart casual, but like good quality pieces that aren't going to disintegrate the moment you put them in the washing machine, like the high street brands, basically. So I think, you know, I think it's still...
And
I don't have a set kind of plan as to where I see it going, but it's also adjusting to like what your audience wants. So now kind of the strategy that we have is, right, let's release more colours, more items, and then see what people like and kind of grow the brand that way. One
of the reasons that Miles is doing the podcast this week and not next year, which was originally planned, is because we posted a video at the Shard event, which people quite liked, which we'll get onto later.
Yeah.
But what was that Shard event for?
So it was for our new collection. So that's another thing about the brand, is I don't release stuff every month. Like it's kind of slow, thought about collections, you know, proper quality items, like from the Signet Chateau to like last year throwing a launch party in a luxury watch store. I've always gone big with like the specific launches. But I think we've always chosen like pretty cool venues to do launches in. Like, how many brands do like pop-ups and launches in like grotty brick pop-ups in Shoreditch? Like I always thought about doing launch events in spaces that aren't full launch events. You know, we did one in the IWC watch store. We've done one, really cool. Our most recent one we've done in the Shard, in a restaurant, Oblix restaurant. And I think about that is like putting your brand in places where you want your ideal customer to be. So that, you know, a fancy restaurant, a luxury watch store. And I think that's such a different way of doing things.
And what is the new collection? Like, what's new?
So I've released quite a few quarter zips. So I thought, you know, what happens if that zip just kept on going? And then I invented the cardigan. So
okay, I've never heard of a cardigan before.
So this is a 100% merino wool, heavyweight, thick cardigan, using merino wool sourced from Australia, South Africa, New Zealand. I really wanted to do items that were like better for winter. So I've got merino wool cardigans, I've got suede gilets, and then like a merino wool jumper. So like these are all really good quality pieces. Kind of instead of doing a collection for like a specific theme, like we've come up with different colours that would kind of match the setting. So like the navy blue ones would work more towards the city, like the brown gilet and the cream cardigan would work better in like the countryside, and then the black one is kind of a bit more versatile for everywhere else. And I think that's something that Ziggna is built on, is you're not designing items for seasons but more so for settings. Like
You're designing outfits, not pieces as well.
yeah, essentially, like that's what I really wanted to hone on with this one, is pieces that work together well.
Yeah.
And like, you know, each cardigan pairs with a gilet, each gilet also pairs with like a merino wool jumper. It then helps come back to building a brand around the lifestyle as to like where you would envision each of those outfits, instead of saying here's like 50 pieces that we want you to wear in winter and then just shooting it in like the cold.
You're almost building like a mini closet each drop.
Yeah. So you design for, like, that's the whole thing that the brand ethos is kind of built around, is like you design for the person who works in the city but then goes on that occasional ski trip, and then, you know, summers in Monaco and Saint-Tropez and then spends their weekends at the countryside. Like that's the person who Ziggna designs for. We don't design around autumn, winter, summer.
Yeah.
Like, even though they are applicable to that, but it's like, it's not summer in London, it's like summer in like the south of France. But then like
maybe we
our
should
city
do
pieces are suitable to people like kind of all year round.
Yeah, maybe we should do Signet Saint-Tropez trip next year.
Oh, I've got things in the works for that.
Okay,
I
brilliant.
need to get on a private jet.
If someone will give us their private jet again.
Yeah. So I've actually bought you something.
For once. First time for everything.
No, it's not. You still never paid me back for that trip to Monaco.
Oh yeah, I never paid you back for that, sorry.
It's fine. You paid for the helicopter. So,
Thank
yeah.
you. What is it?
So this is a merino wool cardigan in stone beige.
Should I go and put this on?
Yeah, you can put it on here.
Close your eyes. Just kidding. I'm going to get out of the car. Okay, what do you think?
Looks very good.
Like it?
You can pay me
To
in
be
cash.
fair, I'm not paying you. You can pay for your podcast episode. I think it's quite a chic little cardigan. I would wear this like on the weekend in the countryside or something.
So I think that's the thing as well. Like, I've seen a lot of cardigans like this on the market. There's one from a brand that I know that sell it for £325, similar style, and it's like 50% polyester.
So, and this is made out of the 100%
This is
merino wool.
100% merino
It's
wool.
comfy,
Yeah,
it's cozy.
So I think that's the thing. That's a piece that will last you for years. Basically, when it came to creating a piece like this, it's like there is no reason why you cannot do 100% merino wool. I don't know why all these brands do these blends and then charge the price that is still more than what you would pay for that.
So, what is the biggest mistake you've made so far that you've managed to resolve?
So we had a massive issue last year when we launched our new collection, and that was like the first time that we'd come out with a new product. So I'd worked with a range of different factories. It was all new factories. So we had our main one that did the quarter zips, the new quarter zips, the new gilets, the socks, and then I had another factory that I went to just to do the shirts, and that was based in Italy. And I went to visit the factory and everything was fine and the samples were great, and it was this non-iron shirt, 100% cotton, because I thought, you know, that is like the next transition if you're doing quarter zip gilets to do shirts. Went there, they were all fine, you know, saw the factory, walked the floor. The stock then arrived at the warehouse late. Usually every time my stock arrives, I go up to my fulfillment center and open up the boxes and view it myself. But because this one had been so delayed, I asked my fulfillment center to like FaceTime me and show me the shirts, and they opened them up and they were awful. Like they had 4 buttons on the collars, they had like pen marks on, all the buttons were unaligned, the labels were done really badly. And don't get me wrong, like they were still wearable, but I thought there was so much behind this new collection that if I launch these with the other products, because they would be cheaper, people are going to think that they're the same, if that makes sense. Like if that's bad quality, then the other stuff's going to be bad quality. So I made a decision to just essentially not launch all that stock, and that costs like tens of thousands of pounds basically.
Ouch.
But I think it was such a good decision to make because I made a video about it and I essentially said that, look, these aren't good enough quality for the standards that I hold my brand to be. I've been so vocal about making high quality pieces and not pushing out stuff for the sake of it that I couldn't in my conscience release a product that I wasn't 100% happy with. So basically I made a decision. I think this was like 2 days before I did my pop-up in Battersea Power Station. I just got in my car and I was like, look, we're not going to launch these. These don't live up to the standard that the other items do, which was so good that I was like, I cannot in my right mind launch these. So wrote the stock off. And that was a big lesson to learn because I lost a lot of money there.
How much money was it again?
I think it was I can't remember, like £20,000.
Yeah.
I think we lost £20,000.
It's a lot of money to lose on shirts.
Yeah. But it was a lesson, like,
Yeah.
and that's the thing, like, I could have, taken the factory to court. There were multiple mistakes that I made on my end as well. Like, now I know every time I need to have someone independently quality check them before they leave the warehouse. I don't work with that factory anymore.
It's a learning curve. Everything's a learning curve.
And I think that's the thing in business as well, is when you launch a business, especially having no experience or, figuring things out as you go along, is you're going to make mistakes, but the easiest way to learn from them is making them. And, now I have a team, I have people who specialize in those specific areas. So I have someone in charge of product development.
I think it's also important not to get hung up on things, because I have friends that something goes wrong and they'll spend so long being hung up on it that they could have just got that money back by just spending that time working instead of worrying.
And that's the thing. I could have taken this manufacturer to court. We could have been tied up in
that would have cost you 20 grand anyway.
And I just thought, it's £20,000. It's a lot of money, but I can make that back if I put my efforts into moving forward. And it was 2 days before I was about to throw a 4-day pop-up in a luxury watch store. I had other things on my mind.
Yeah.
And
just
that's probably
cut
the best.
your loss and move on.
Learn, and now for next time.
I know the answer to this question, but I want to see if you can answer it yourself. What is one thing that you wish more people knew about you?
I think that my business isn't a joke, and even though it comes across as a joke, like, that is why it's done so well. People think, it's just this guy who left his corporate job and sells a few quarter zips, not knowing that there is an entire team behind that. I left finance and went and started a menswear brand. I don't have any experience in designing clothes. That's why I hire people who do. The guy who does all my product development founded one of the biggest menswear brands, streetwear brands in Australia. We work with one of the best factories in the world who produce for all these luxury brands like Rag & Bone, Alexander Wang, Hugo Boss, like all these luxury brands. And they think because, it's this like guy on Instagram or TikTok promoting it or whatever, it's not serious. But the amount of people I've had who've ordered stuff and been blown away by the quality, I think as well, that is why people don't take it seriously. And I think as well, a lot of people like in the industry don't take my brand seriously, which I don't care about at the end of the day, because what we're doing works and it's proved to be successful. And I've grown that brand massively through purely organic content, like without investment, without putting hundreds of thousands of pounds in ad spend. And I think that is a bit of a testament to the fact that you don't need to be taken seriously to like be successful. You don't need to be, we're doing this all by the book.
My answer was a bit different. I was going to say...
So it's not the same.
No, my answer was different. My answer was going to be that you're actually quite soft.
What? No, I'm not going to put that in the podcast. Cut.
No, it's like I describe Miles to people as like a big teddy bear.
Really?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people think that, that is one thing. People think that I'm an awful person because of the type of content I do, not knowing that, maybe I am a bit switched on.
Yeah.
And it is...
You're actually quite soft and,
Soft, nice.
Miles normally calls me about 3 times a day asking for help. Put it that way.
Yeah, same. Right, and she never picks up.
So following on from the conversation we just had about people not taking you seriously, I do feel like sometimes it looks like for both of us, we just go around making these stupid videos, but there is always an ulterior motive behind what we're doing.
Yeah.
So what is the most insane thing you've ever watched me do?
Oh, actually, there's that video of you sitting on the balcony in Val d'Isere rubbing snow on your face, and it was like -8 outside.
Oh my God, it was freezing. It was so
Doing
cold.
your makeup routine that way.
Yeah.
That was quite insane.
Yeah, I did. That was the ice gouache I made, yeah.
Yeah, I don't mess with it.
I made that trend.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Skiing with your Birkin. I think that's what we've done quite well, is the videos that we do are so out of place that's why they're...
I always describe it to people as the easiest way to go viral is to create a big contrast. So doing something that you shouldn't be doing, wearing something that you shouldn't be, or in an environment you shouldn't be in. So for example, skiing with a Birkin is so absurdly ridiculous.
Yeah.
No one actually does that. So of course you're going to turn a head. So I describe to clients like the best way to get eyeballs on your content and get views, if that's what your goal is the same way as if I walk down the street wearing a bright yellow outfit and singing, everyone would look at me. If you do that in your content, or you do something that's going to make people double take, you're going to get more views. It's the exact same concept.
Yeah, so like form of guerrilla marketing, which I think I've done as well.
That's the right word for it, guerrilla marketing.
I've done for my brand as well, is when I did that video of me skiing with my laptop in a quarter
Yeah,
zip,
that was
or
good.
like skiing in a suit. It's things that, you know, pull in tens of millions of views.
Yeah. The difference between me and Miles' ski content is that Miles is actually quite good at skiing and I'm rubbish. Although I just want to say,
Yeah.
it's very hard to ski holding a £25,000 handbag.
Try skiing with a MacBook.
Yeah, but that's what you can get. Just get another one.
Yeah, that is my
I
spare
can't
one.
get another Birkin.
Yeah, yeah,
But
true. The
I
little
have
reply to
actually,
emails.
I did just want to say that I have actually been skiing my whole life. I'm just pretty average.
Yeah.
Miles is always trying to give me tips and teach me, but
Yeah, cause
Miles was actually a ski instructor.
I was, yeah. That was my first proper job.
Yeah, ski instructor.
Yeah.
How did you get into that?
I've been skiing since I was a child. I used to do that when I was at school. So I used to fly on the Friday. When did I fly? Yeah, I used to fly on the Fridays out to Switzerland, work Saturdays and Sundays, and then fly back Sunday night. Because they paid really well out there.
I used to go to the Amazon warehouse on Saturday and Sunday night and work night shift.
Yeah, I
night shift,
used
so
to leave school to...
We had pretty different jobs growing up.
Yeah, because in Switzerland they paid £25 an hour. Well, I think my parents were in Switzerland, so I'd fly out to see them, and you know, that shift, I think I'd pull in a couple £100 a weekend.
Decent.
It's quite a cool job to have. And I used to teach it in French as well.
Did you? Oh yeah, because Miles can speak French as well.
Yeah.
Something people didn't know about you. Tell me something in French that would offend me, but I wouldn't understand it to anyone listening. It's French.
Va-tu faire enculer?
What does that mean?
Go fuck yourself.
Content creation has changed our lives so much. So what would your advice be to anyone that wants to do it but doesn't quite have the confidence to?
I would say that the moment you stop caring about what other people think of your content is the moment that it does well. Mm-hmm. That's definitely something that I realised, and literally within a day of changing the type of content I did, it started to blow up. I
would say though that it's still hard. We go through kind of ruts where we care. And we have to pull ourselves out of them.
And I think that's quite good because we both have other businesses that we run that you don't get so in your head about it. So I would say, you know...
I mean, we get pretty in our head about it. Okay.
I just think as well, if you get quite overwhelmed with content, then...
There's an escape.
It's good to have, like, that's why I like, you know, running my brand and then also doing content too on the side.
What advice would you give to someone that perhaps has loads of followers and wants to start a brand?
So I think it's a relatively new thing, but if you want to start a business, you need money to fund that, right? And there's a few options that you can go down. You can either take out a loan, you can either have investment, you can have savings, or you can have money from mum and dad or family. There is another option, which is through social media, because the amount of money you can earn on there is insane, that you can essentially fund your business through the money that you earn on social media.
Yeah, so it's like influencer funnels down to starting a business, so you can essentially use it as it's a bank.
So not only can you promote your business through that and use it as a marketing funnel, but you can also use it to fund your business. That's what I did. I used all the money I'd made through influencing when I was working my job to fund my business at the start. Since then, I've put more money in to scale it bigger because I could spend, you know, a few months going out trying to look for investment, or I could just hustle and pull that money in myself and retain all the equity in my own business. And I think that's, obviously it's a very privileged position to be in, but it does just show that you can anyone can do that. Anyone can pick up a phone and start recording stuff. You know, you don't have to be doing the type of content we're doing, but, you know, it's another option to, I think as well, be smart with your money in that sense. And that's not to say that I wouldn't take on any money from investors, but I think it gives you another way to start a business. And sometimes it can be a wise investment because, yes, there is an expiry date on influencers. That's why I think it's so important as someone who has a following not to fully rely on that and to build out other income streams, whether that's through, you know, selling a service or selling a product is a way to kind of retain ownership of your brand as well.
But it's like anything, like don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, exactly. And I think as well it gives you a sense of purpose because when you do just focus on socials, you do kind of lose the drive with it.
I don't know how... I mean, hats off to anyone that just does influencing without doing anything else, because it's so, actually, people don't talk about, I hate saying this because it sounds like so privileged, but waking up and having to self-motivate yourself is really difficult when you don't have anywhere to be, you don't have a deadline. I'm terrible with being on time, but at least if I've got something to do, I'll leave my house. If I don't even leave. Like, it's so difficult to self-motivate yourself.
I think that's the thing as well, because you are your own boss, and it's really hard to keep yourself accountable, and that's something that I really struggled with, and that's why I hired an office space, because I was like, at least if I can get out of the house. Otherwise I was on the sofa for 2 weeks because I just needed to work, and I knew that the more I worked, the more I'd make, but I had no reason to leave the house, essentially.
One of the things I've been asked before, like, how do you self-motivate yourself as an influencer? And I've said a few times, when I had just moved to London, I'd quit my job and I was, you know, doing influencing full-time and running a business. I didn't really need anyone else to help me at the time, but I hired someone just to turn up at my house at 10 a.m. and, you know, assist
10?
me. Yeah, at 10. I start work at 10,
Oh.
not 9. So Anya would come round at 10 and
Yeah.
she'd ring on my doorbell, and that would be my alarm, because I'd have to then get out of bed and sit with her. But
Yeah.
that's how I self-motivated myself, and I wasn't really in a good place at the time, and I knew I needed someone to keep me accountable, and that was paying for a salary for someone to literally just come around and sit with me and make sure I got stuff done. And it sounds silly, but it worked. You know?
I was thinking that now I'm responsible for. I have 5 people who work for me. It gives me motivation to get back into
because you're responsible for their lives. Yeah,
exactly, and like paying them.
Yeah.
I think that's the other thing that people don't realise is that with a load of people who do content and run your businesses, like we both know that this is not something that we do on our own.
Yeah.
We have a whole team behind us.
I mean, there's like 6 people that help with the podcast.
Yeah.
And it just looks like I'm just sat in my car filming it, but that's not the case. Like, it takes so much work.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room, which
Yeah.
Miles said I wasn't allowed to talk about, but now he's in here, I think we should talk about it.
Yeah. Okay.
What is it?
That we had an argument and fell out.
For 9 months.
Was it 9?
Well, it was from February.
Best 9 months of my life.
It was February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October.
It was before that.
Was
I thought we
it?
made up in summer. No.
No, it was the end of the summer.
Was it?
It was September, yeah.
I
So-
feel like it was.
February, March. No,
Oh, yeah, it was.
February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Yeah, 8 months. We didn't
Yeah.
talk at all.
Yeah.
We're laughing now, but it wasn't funny at the time.
Yeah.
And the only reason we made up is because I stalked Miles on Find My Friend and I ambushed him in the pub.
Yeah, and then we sat
And we
down
had a
and hashed
board
out.
meeting when everyone around us was basically getting pissed, and there was a live
It was a
band
round
playing.
table as well.
And
Kate was the
We had a
mediator.
mediator, yeah. But
And yeah, we
months
hashed it
later.
out in an hour. And then we went to
It-
Inferno's.
It was a very long hour of my life listening to Miles talking to me about what I'd done wrong.
Yeah.
But
Oh, so you're admitting you were in the wrong here?
I wasn't in the wrong. But look, we had an argument and we were both too petty to resolve it. And then I was like, this is getting ridiculous now. It's been 9 months. Skiing's
But
coming up.
I think it worked. Yeah, no, we're not going to ski. I think it worked quite well though, because we both had time to like not be.
Friends.
No, not be friends, but like get over it basically.
I mean, I never had a problem, but
Yeah. Well,
it was just
maybe
you that
that's
had an
the
issue.
Yeah.
Obviously, he needed to be friends with me again before his event, and the collection launched. And oh, great! Now he can come on the podcast. So, questions I ask on every podcast:
Yeah.
if you were going to a desert island and you could only take one beauty product with you, which one would it be?
A good moisturizer.
Yeah, which one's your favourite?
So a dermalogical one.
Mm-hmm.
They sent it to me years ago, and I think they've discontinued it. And it was.
So what do you use now then?
I use La Roche-Posay.
Which one?
Yeah.
The gel?
I don't know. Just a moisturiser.
Such a boy answer.
Yeah. But
There you go.
I
La
always buy it in
Roche-Posay
duty free at
moisturiser.
Geneva.
Well done.
Even though it's probably like double the price, but
This is going to be hard for Miles to answer because he's incapable of being nice. But
yeah.
what is one thing that you wish people knew about me? Because obviously I've asked you what you wish people knew about you.
I think that you work non-stop.
I do also have a life. Not really.
No, but like you work very, very hard.
Mm.
Like, you know, we've been on phone calls to like 2, 3 a.m. before about work.
Yeah.
Like that is the thing, that you are working around the clock.
Yeah.
I think people don't really realise that.
I'm trying to work on my work-life balance.
I
but
don't
it's not
necessarily think
going
that's a
very
bad thing. I think you should always, like,
Yeah.
I think especially at the start of your career, it does require an element of sacrifice of like
Mm-hmm.
being all in, and you are very all in.
Something I've been struggling with recently is because I've got more people working for Voir Social, I've got more influencing work than I've ever had before. I'm trying to go on influencing trips. I'm trying to run Voir Social. Then I've started a podcast. It's like I've found sometimes I'm so overwhelmed, I just have a complete breakdown.
I think that's the thing. I can't say no. I don't say no to things. I always think
Yeah.
that I will just make time for it.
But I also, the reason I feel like I can't say no to anything is because I never used to have this life. And I've earned it, and I'm always worried about losing it, which I know that's not how it works, but I've always got in the back of my mind, I have to keep going, because if I stop, I feel like it's all going to like drift away from me, which isn't right, it won't. But it's
Yeah.
difficult when you haven't come from, you know, I grew up in Bristol and I went to academy school, and I never envisioned myself going to Saint-Tropez on private jets and going to amazing chateaus in France and going on 4 ski trips a year. So it's almost like I'm constantly worried that I'm going to lose it, which
Yeah.
isn't the right feeling to have. But it's also, I think, just because I've come from a very normal background and I've worked really hard to get here, I don't want to go backwards.
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with wanting to make the most of every opportunity, but like something that I struggled with is sometimes when you do too much, you then burn out and then you can do nothing.
Yeah. But I do kind of feel like next year I'm going to really try and master that work-life balance. Not so that I can work 9 to 5 and have the weekend off, but so that I can go to Saint-Tropez with my friends in the summer and I can go on a ski trip and not have to constantly be filming and working, which I don't mind doing. I really enjoy it. And I'm the worst person when I say to everyone, oh, let's have a day where we don't film any content, and then 5 minutes later I've got my tripod out. But I think I do keep thinking, okay, I started doing this when I was 20. I'm almost 25 now. I don't want to get to 30 and be like, oh my God, I spent my whole 20s like filming content and working.
Yeah.
Like there needs to be a balance.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
But I think as well, we're both now in that stage where we were just almost like a one-man team for so long. And now we've learnt to delegate and hire. I went away recently and I knew that my team had everything handled. So I could actually put my phone down for a bit. Did I know? But still.
It's almost like it's almost like a roller coaster with starting a business on your own. Like you're on your own and you kind of get all the way up and you have to work really hard, and then once you've got to that point where you can hire people, you can then start to kind of incline back down. You're never going to go all the way back down to what it was before, but at least there's not as much to do. But the start, I think they say, don't they, people start businesses and then they give up after 6 months because you can't quite break to that next point of expanding and building a team, and that's the hardest part. But
and the
like
sacrifice, like sometimes we have to get our tripods out on holidays because that's how we make a living. Yeah. Like you, for example, you have to post every day on socials. Yeah. I have to make sure that every email is answered.
It's really hard though to get into a rut of like, oh, I'm going on a work trip. I feel like you have to flip it and be like, I'm going on a trip and I also get to work. Like how amazing is that? And it's just like flipping that narrative to being like, you know what? I don't mind doing a couple of hours of work on my holiday because it means that I've paid for the whole holiday. Or
like when we went on that ski trip,
or whatever.
When we went on that ski trip, we all had deals that we were going to film there, and we made money off that ski trip. Like we spent a lot of money on that ski trip, but we all made money on it. Yeah. And okay, like you didn't leave the house for the first chalet for the first 3 days. But then that meant that we could set aside some time to enjoy it as well.
So on that ski trip, we literally planned out we were going to spend the first 3 days filming our content, and the last 3 days were not filmed because it was just us having fun and skiing and doing things that 20-year-olds should be doing. And
we still filmed those.
We still filmed on all the days.
But that's the thing. It's like, there is that element of sacrifice to make, and we're in a very privileged position to be able to do that. Yeah. Also to be able to go on these amazing holidays and monetize them.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm going to move on to my last question, which I ask everyone. What is one thing that you regret not doing in your career so far?
I would say definitely there are elements of things that I've done that I've not been confident enough to do. And now I'm kind of like, what have I got to lose? Like, apart from my whole business and everything that I've built.
Okay.
But I think it's not taking more risks, I'd say. I've taken a lot of risks, but taking more. I like taking risks.
Well, Miles lost his virginity today.
On podcast virginity.
How did you find it?
Thrilling.
Yeah?
Good discussion.
You can come on again, maybe when I've got the upgraded car.
Yeah. I'm not getting back in this again.
Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.